All right, guys, we're back. We're not ready yet, but I think we found a solution to our problems, TJ. We're going to have these players go on different accounts, the ones who haven't updated yet, because in the meantime, all of the patches is actually kind of big files. So it's like downloading is not very simple. It has to take some time. So we're just going to try to find other accounts and build the decks on there.
Yep, and they're going to use the same decks. They already did the draft. It happened in the seal tool, so we don't need to do any of that. They're just going to build the decks, and then we should be jumping into the game. Shouldn't be any more issues with that. And I'm ready to get into some sealed action here, Dan.
I'm ready for the
restless.
tournament to start.
Yeah.
I am as well, TJ.
Yeah. You know what they always say, mo money, mo problems. We give the players money to bet, and all of a sudden, it all hits the fan.
More patches is more problems, more like it at this point.
Yeah.
The way the situation goes down is, for anybody who's curious why it's not just like, well, just, update. So some devices have the patch and some don't. So for example, if I update on my phone, for example, it might have the update, but it can't really get spectated from a device that doesn't have that patch, because it won't have the necessary files, and therefore it'll say like, please relog and to continue over and over and over.
Yeah.
And we can never get started. So some of those devices did, and some of the PCs didn't. So it's one of these really awkward situations based off it. So we're trying to relog in and find the best way to go about it. But however, I do think that the players have actually finished building their decks. I think they're about to get started. Looks like they're putting the headsets on. We could be getting one step closer, TJ, to getting things started.
Yes. Yeah. I'm so happy. Well, to give you guys just a little bit of a quick rundown of how everything's working. Each player starts with 1,000 coins or gold, 1,000 coins worth of chips. And for the first rounds, the minimum bet is 150 ante and then a 75 maximum bet. So for this first game, you can see there the current pot is 450. Each player with 225 coins in the pot, and it is going to be a Shaman Mirror.
Oh my goodness. Dreams can come true. Game one is about to start between StrifeCro and VLPS. Now, taking a look at the opening hands here, VLPS is the player on the bottom. He's on the coin. However, I do think StrifeCro being able to get early game board presence, if he can get that one drop. Okay, Totem Golem is also pretty good, considering that he can play Totem Golem or Murloc Tidehunter. But having the coin as the Shaman Mirror is pretty powerful, because you can establish board first and then pick the trades up and then be able to leverage your position.
Yeah.
So it depends on how VLPS wants to time his coin here.
Yeah. He does have some pretty strong stuff here, but Echoing Ooze doesn't really trade too well against a lot of things. If you play it and your opponent, for example, plays a 2-3, then the Echoing Ooze won't even trade for the entirety of the 2-3. If I remember correctly, VLPS did have Flametip Totems to follow it up, so it's a card that synergizes well with that. But we'll have to see how it's going to fare. It especially doesn't do well against a Totem Golem.
Yeah, when StrifeCro sees this, he was, well, maybe I would consider Murloc Tidehunter, but he's got double Totem Golem, and that is one of the strongest plays that you can do on turn 2. In the game, the fact that 3-4 stats don't trade, like nothing trades well into it as a 2-drop other than the shielded mini-bot.
Yeah, very strong start. And VLPS, if the Mech Warper didn't have an answer, he could get rolling pretty well. But unfortunately, he is going to just have to totem up here instead of play the Mech Warper, because he wants to try and get value out of it, I suppose, a little bit later, maybe to play a 2 and a 3-drop going into turn 5.
It feels like that might be his undoing, because I know VLPS says there is a Totem Golem. I don't want to fall too far behind. But when you don't play things like the Mana Addict, how else do you expect to fight back? I guess. Oh, that Power Mace, huge draw opportunity here. Because before that, I was like, well, these 2 Totem Golems will rule the board.
Yeah, that's nuts. Actually, that's a incredible draw, because he's got so much of that Mech energy still in his hand. Okay, well. StrifeCro does have the Shattered Sun Cleric that will put the Totem Golem slightly out of the range of the 1-2. However, it's gonna one thing will die regardless of it. Like if he plays Shattered Sun Cleric or he plays Totem Golem, one thing's gonna die. And now you're gonna see the huge Tempo Swing Power Mace generates. This is what you were alluding to, TJ. Yeah.
Of how Power Mace might just dictate how this game goes.
Yeah, a 4-7 that cannot be targeted by spells is ridiculously strong, especially in this format when a lot of times you can't run, minions that act as hard removal. So he's StrifeCro's going to have to get through this the old-fashioned way. By that time, VLPS has plenty of stuff to reload the board with a Mech Warper and a Piloted Shredder. Being able to play both of those next turn. Well, maybe the Sentient Shieldmaster will have him play an Earthshock to finish that off, along with maybe double the 2 drops.
It's interesting because now you can just play the Mech Warper and the Pilot Shredder, and all of a sudden, StrifeCro just so far behind on the board that he needs a Lightning Storm. Oh man, he's got all these like token-esque things, like the Razorfin Hunter, the Murloc Tidehunter, but no way to benefit off of it just yet.
Yeah, and not really any super powerful battle cries that are going to help him come back into this one. Like you said, those Murloc Tidehunters aren't going to do anything as soon as they come down on the board, so he's just going to have to try and load it up, and hopefully he can get through the rest of his board.
Yeah, it's a fight honestly. And VLPS does have some ways to really firmly supplant himself here. I'm looking. Oh, he drew a Totem Golem as well. It's not bad. So if he ends up trading just like straight up Mech Warper and the Pilot Shredder in, then he can set up a lot of these 2 drops and command seize the board. I wonder if he's seeing some potential to use Earthshock here though. It feels like you have to go off curve, which makes it really awkward.
Yeah. I think making sure that you get as much stuff on the board here.
Huh. So he wants to kill off the Shattered Sun Cleric as well. It's perfectly fine.
And a Snow Chugger, okay.
Snow Chugger's decent, pretty decent stats.
But this means that VLPS is taking control of the board, and StrifeCro, I believe, did have 1 Lightning Storm in the Shaman deck. He had a lot of other spells, like the double Lightning Bolt with Lava Burst, but I think he did fit 1 Lightning Storm in. So that's a great comeback tool. And I believe the overall quality of his cards was a little bit higher. His curve was higher. So he's got those late game threats. So if he does manage to take control, maybe he'll be able to take the match.
Yeah, the one thing I do like about VLPS's play is that the Windspeaker itself is a 3/3, and it's something that I wasn't considering while evaluating the play.
Yeah.
And being able to just have that the 3/3 on board is pretty challenging to whatever comes out. And VLPS picking up the Argent Horse Rider. It's a card that can really seize the board and make sure they can pick up some good trades here.
Don't worry, the cavalry's here.
He can trade in the Windspeaker here and the Argent Horse Rider, but I don't know if he wants to give up that much of his board. Maybe he wants to try and value trade a little bit, start taking out these totems.
I think it's fine to trade the Divine Shield in.
Yeah.
The only debate is whether or not he wants to start hero powering or he starts to play Echoing Ooze, but this puts 6 power on the board, which should be able to answer anything reasonable comes out. You're starting to hit the turns where you're like, okay, well, he has 7 to 8 mana available.
Yeah.
Most likely, whatever he plays is just like a big threat.
Yeah.
And Shieldmaster isn't exactly the most intimidating minion, but when it's a 3/5, it trades for 3 of those minions on the board.
Yeah. Yeah, Windspeaker doesn't really help too much. I suppose with the Earthshock, it'll allow him to push through. But other than that, if he can pick up spell power, that'll make Earthshock get through this Sentient Shieldmaster a little more cleanly because he can trade onto it afterwards. But VLPS, he topped out at Fire Elemental, I think. So the strongest card he can draw in his deck is a 6-drop. The later this game goes, I feel like the more disadvantaged VLPS will be just based off of how he built his deck.
You know, I actually like Windspeaker onto the Snow Chugger because if your opponent kills it with his 3/4, it freezes the minion as well.
Yeah.
In the meantime, it's a big threat. Your opponent can't put you on the fact that you might not buff it and whatnot. However, StrifeCro does pick up a pretty good card. Thunderblood Valiant is excellent. Just the stat distribution alone might make it worth it. Plus, you get totems that get buffed. And a healing totem isn't bad either.
Pretty good. And now in order to trade into that healing totem, you have to sacrifice some health on a minion. And an Oratron, while it'll block his minions, VLPS is not anywhere close to being able to kill StrifeCro. So it'll only sort of stop the bleeding for 1 more turn. And you have to trade in all of his creatures, all of his minions.
He has to. Thunderblood Valiant might single-handedly run away with the game. But StrifeCro has plenty of that. He has another form of it in Ruthless Champion, for example.
Yeah.
Lightning Bolt doesn't do it, though. And StrifeCro is probably weighing right now if he wants to play the Antique Heal bot just for the 3/3 body it presents instead of the heal. And that's a pretty valid thing to present here because You know, one of the things that you have to worry about in this mirror is not the health total, but it's just the state of the board. And with that healing totem constantly restoring a little bit of health, it's pretty huge for StrifeCro if he wants to fight back.
Well, Flame Jump Totem ends up being a pretty good draw here, just because got a lot of pretty useless stuff on the board now he'll be able to utilize to trade up.
Yeah, in fact, he can kill both of the 3/3s if he uses this. Okay, so he's going to pick up the value trade instead. Hopefully protect his Flame Tongue Totem, but oh, that's such a big draw!
Oh, man.
And now he's Lightning Bolt to reach through past the Flame Tongue Totem. Oh man, VLPS is going to be so unhappy to see this.
Yeah, I don't think VLPS had any sort of cycle in the Shaman deck, so not looking good for him. Like we said, the strongest card in his deck that he can draw at this stage is a Water Elemental, and now that both of the 3 health minions have been taken up to 4 with the Mookless Champion, the Battle Cry would just be able to take that out, so it'll be good, but it wouldn't be enough. Crackle.
Kills the Mookless Champion. That's you have no chance to win if this game goes on any longer with Mookless Champion. This is what we're talking about, where like StrifeCro's Shaman has a lot of late game potential just to win in the long run. But what VLPS failed to do early on was build a significant board. And StrifeCro getting those 2 totem golems early on was so monumental for his momentum here.
Yeah. And once again, value trades. Getting rid of these totems is actually pretty important. Just because VLPS has no cards. The only thing he can utilize are his totems. So you can put him on a shorter clock, but if he draws a Flame Tongue Totem or even something that he can utilize with spell power, he doesn't know if VLPS has any Lightning Storms in the deck, so he wants to make sure that he kills them off.
Yeah, you know, the healing totem here is also, like you said, putting it out of the range of Lightning Storm. VLPS really needs to hope that StrifeCro doesn't have anything else going for him. Speaking of Lightning Storm, StrifeCro picks up his Lightning Storm, and it's not even that relevant. It's one of those cards where you'd actually rather just have a minion to close up the game.
Yeah.
But maybe that's a premonition. Maybe VLPS draws his Lightning Storm, and all of a sudden this game gets blown wide open.
Did he even have Lightning Storm? I don't even remember him drafting
I
it.
believe he has one.
He drafted one. All right, well, VLPS goes ahead and concedes and loses 225 coins. The 450 coin pot heads all over to StrifeCro.
That feel when you have Shaman finally win a game, but it's against another Shaman.
The pot is at the end of the set. They bet for the match, but the pot goes through the whole set. So in between the games, I believe they can rebet based off of the next class. But as far as the entire pot, it goes towards the end of the set.
Okay, so I guess now it's time to see what happens in game 2 for how they're going to wager. I think we're going to get ready for it. So in the meantime, currently StrifeCro has won 450 for the pot, but remember he's putting on his own, so he's not at 1450. He's at 1250, so to speak, based off how the pot ends up going back and forth, right? He's like effectively that much ahead, right?
Effectively, but he has to win the entire best of set in order to take the pot. So he hasn't taken the pot yet. He'll have a chance to sort of reevaluate his deck, his next deck choice, and increase the pot, like bet based off his next deck that he's going to play in the series. But he won't win the pot until he wins the series.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Looks like we're going to head down to the stage and see what they're going to be thinking for game number 2. Let's go over to Wade, the dealer, and see what's up.
Congratulations on your Game 1 win, StrifeCro. You're up 1-0 in the series. Because you won Game 1, you're going to have the first option to bet. You're going to be playing on your Mage, and VLPS, you're going to be playing on your Hunter.
I need my chips first.
What's that?
I need my chips first.
They're right there. No, you
No,
win
my
these.
pot.
You win these at the end of the series.
Wait, what?
At the end of the whole series is when you win the pot.
So you just keep betting.
Correct.
Oh, okay. So I can like bet to add more to the pot. I'm already up, so I gotta keep betting.
All right. So
Betting
bet.
a big, I'm all in.
What is your bet?
All in.
You can only bet 75.
I know, I'm just kidding. Same 5.
All right.
Let's do it.
All right, so VLPS calls, and we'll be good to go on game number 2. So head back to the stations.
All right, yeah, that was funny, man.
Yeah, I'm all in.
Yeah, I'm all in. And StrifeCro clearly needs his pot. So.
Yeah. Yes, he does. He was
Look, in order to play, man, he has to have his pot.
Yeah.
That's kind of what he was saying.
He was refusing to keep going.
Don't get between a man and his chips. It looks like at this point, StrifeCro is feeling pretty confident. I mean, you're up one game. You feel really good. And then, once again, putting in the 75 bet here.
Yeah.
So that puts up the total pot to an additional 150. So that's the 600 at the moment.
600, I believe.
600.
Let the hunt begin.
All right, so Hunter versus Mage. Now, this Mage deck has only one drop. A single one drop, and that is the Zombie Chow.
The one lonely zombie chow.
Yeah. Keep in mind, this is, by the way, Conquest. The check mark on the Shaman shows that StrifeCro has gotten that deck out of the way here. What will VLPS be able to do with this Hunter deck? Desert Camel seems to be pretty paramount to the strategy of this deck.
Yeah.
I would expect him to pitch the Desert everything except the Desert Camel and the one drop, so he has a 1, 2, and then, of course, hopefully a 3-play.
Yeah. So VLPS's Hunter wasn't necessarily all in on the aggressive cards. It did top out at a few higher end things. We saw the Savannah Highmane in the opening hand, and now in this hand as well. So he has 2 of those. Those are fantastically strong cards.
Yep.
In the sealed format.
Now, StrifeCro already understanding that he probably wants a hero power. If he plays Bone Guard Lieutenant into the board, then Brave Archer gets a good trade, and he once again gets initiative. I wonder if VLPS wants to coin, but I feel like he has a couple of 2-drops. He'd rather just follow the curve and save the coin for Savannah Highmane.
Yeah, which is a great line of play. He does have the curve that fits that line of play, so.
And now it's time to see, is it Cavaldi Raider or is it Tournament Attendee? Web Spinner's not bad. Oh, and it pulls his only Zombie Chow in the deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not happy about that. VLPS was like, well, I was thinking about all my synergies. But StrifeCro was like, okay, cool. You know, I don't have to actually pull out Zombie Chow. You know, it's almost as if StrifeCro played Zombie Chow in turn 1 anyways to fight the board.
I think StrifeCro was the player that I had a long talk with Desert Camel about at the last sealed event. And saying, I don't know if I necessarily like that, because so many people are going to be putting Zombie Chows in the deck, and it's probably going to be one of their only 1-drops. So you really need to have confidence, or just put in Injured Cavaldier with the Desert Camel if you want consistency.
Sure.
In making Desert Camel a good, value tempo play, I guess it would be.
There's a couple of problems with StrifeCro's position. The first is that he's really afraid of a Houndmaster, so he's just going to ping off the beasts and play it. But we know that there is no Houndmaster, and so VLPS was able to reveal the Shade, which means that now he can address it before it gets out of control, because that card can snowball if you don't address it.
Yeah. Bear Trap.
Oh, time to see if it jousts. And
Not green.
no.
So,
Working as intended.
yep. Yep. Well, putting a Joust card in a Hunter deck, which tops out at Savannah Highmane.
Yeah, but now this is what happens. He doesn't get to get a good trade, so as a result, Forgotten Torch and the Bone Guard Lieutenant, a lot of tempo.
Yeah. And of course, StrifeCro, I mentioned it earlier, the synergy. He also has Amani Berserker, which you can ping that and trade it up into a 5-health minion. So Savannah Highmane is one of those, and it doesn't feel that great to have your Savannah Highmane be picked off by, a 2-mana minion and a hero power. It still leaves around the hyenas, but they can get picked off as well.
Yeah, I think StrifeCro will play the Gnome Shemetta first to draw, then reevaluate. Ooh, Frostbolt's an interesting tempo card as well. You can
just ignore it.
freeze the Savannah Highmane and push the 7 damage. I think what he's also thinking about, though, is, like, how much does he want to, like, let this Savannah Highmane live and then get more beast synergies? And then, like, again, clearing the board seems to be a better priority. Plus, he can save Frostbolt for something to grab better tempo as time goes on.
Oh, Savage Combatant, though. Allows him to pick off the Bone Guard Lieutenant. Bone Guard Lieutenant ended up sticking around at the last turn because of the hero power. So sort of another incentive for StrifeCro to trade and get the most out of the minions that he has on the board.
Well, Frostbolt here means that StrifeCro only has 3 more mana to develop, which means a duplicate doesn't feel very strong on the board, but the Savage Combatant is too threatening. It allows you to have dual-purpose hero power. The one that gets to attack the board, one that gets to do a little bit of damage that picks away at your life total. And you know what secrets do introduce is an element of surprise, right? Like, what is it? Mirror Entity? Should I play around that? Is it Spellbender, Counterspell?
Yeah. Very true. And StrifeCro preemptively playing down the duplicate.
Okay, so it's not Mirror Entity. He can safely play a Stranglethorn Tiger or a Loatheb here. I think I like the Stranglethorn Tiger to develop for the purpose of stealth. What I do like about Loatheb, though, is that your opponent can't just play the removal game, and he has to deal with the stats on board.
Yeah.
So you're it's most likely letting you stick to something. But I don't feel like Stranglethorn Tiger would die either way. You know,
Yeah.
like when you play Bone Guard Lieutenant, you know it's going to die to the board. Oh, this is interesting. You know, I wasn't really considering hero powering to keep the Bone Guard Lieutenant safe from the trade.
And fitting in the hero power, too.
Interesting.
Maybe realizing that win condition might involve fitting in hero powers, playing for the long game. They both ran out of cards in the last game. So
This is really creative. I think VLPS is saying that I'm really afraid of a lot of the ways that like the secrets can interact. So to prevent myself from being in a situation to give him like an ability to like stop counter spells and whatnot, I'm just gonna play a little bit slower and evaluate.
And now the Loatheb. Oh, wow.
That was a good draw.
Yeah. Yeah, it seemed like the Loatheb's better in that situation to sort of protect his Deathlord here from, you know, being killed by a spell and forcing the tempo back over into StrifeCro's hand. So he thought about playing the Stranglethorn Tiger, but I do agree with going with the Loatheb.
Okay. If you can get any cheap spell, Frost Nova is so good with Antonius. That actually might dictate who wins this game.
And he also has that duplicate up, so even if he decides that he needs to kill the Antonius.
Most likely, we'll see a duplicate on something else, though.
Yeah, true.
One thing to consider, by the way, is that StrifeCro has played around the explosive shot. Just good thing that he did, because he could get punished if he did it incorrectly.
It's really important. It's a strong card in both Arena and Sealed. So.
Right. VLPS still very worried about that secret. If he plays explosive shot, he's worried about counterspell, even a spellbender.
All right, well, now he knows it's
not counterspell.
So it could be Spellbender, so it could be Apogee, so it could be Duplicate.
Yeah.
As far as his mind it goes.
He sees the duplicate, though, and he knows, okay, at least I didn't duplicate your Conjure. That could have been bad.
Yeah. And starting to push some damage here. 14 health.
Yeah.
StrifeCro's down to.
But now time for the Antonius, which would be a 2-turn lethal setup. He attacks the face just to get out the bear trap. And how will VLPS deal with this 2-card combo?
Oh, man.
Oh, man. Will VLPS
Stoneface. Oh,
either
man.
needs to kill Antonius? Wow, that card doesn't do anything.
Yeah, he can't even get past.
Well, I mean, pretty sure VLPS is just dead.
Yeah.
Because he can't kill any of these minions.
Yeah.
And the really hard part is that, you know, like he's just gonna die to the fireball chains.
Yeah.
And Antonius hitting the face.
Yeah.
So I think VLPS had an opportunity there to maybe do something, but that's just going to do it. And game number 2 goes to the mage. The fast hunter deck not curving out. And you know what? I'm looking at that zombie chow coming out of the desert camel of just swinging the board. When you have such an early aggressive curve, the last thing you want to see is zombie chow. It's actually like the nightmare of any aggro deck.
Yeah, I don't think VLPS even had the consistencies of one drops, because we look back at the deck building. StrifeCro had the hunter deck that was just nuts on the one drops.
Yeah, right there. And he didn't even draw it. Like, he didn't have to draw it. Like,
Yeah.
he just got pulled from the deck.
Yeah, exactly. So StrifeCro with another game that I didn't expect that one to go that way, because it felt like VLPS had a lot of really strong cards in the hunter deck, but he just never got opportunities to play them.
Makes sense, makes sense. Well, looks like we're going to go down to the stage for once again and head over to Wade to see what these guys are planning for game number 3.
Congratulations, StrifeCro. Another win, 2-0. The pot's yours.
Nice. Give me those chips.
So talk to me about what you thought of that first match, both of you guys. Like, StrifeCro, how your draft went and what you thought of your decks and how they
Are
performed.
we using these decks in the next games? No. Or
We are.
we are? Okay. So I'm going to be lying a lot then.
What's that?
I'm going to be lying a lot then.
All right.
So I think my draft went like really bad.
Really bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I basically picked.
I don't know what that says about VLPS's draft then.
It was probably a little bit worse, but I had to pick like some weak classes like Shaman, Hunter.
And Mage was your third deck, I believe.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
all right. And what about you, VLPS?
Yeah, I wasn't too happy with my draft. The first deck, the Shaman deck, it had a very nice early curve, but I just unfortunately didn't draw very well against StrifeCro. I think we were both kind of all in, and he kind of just, took board from me around turn 10 or 11, and couldn't take it back from him.
Yeah, I noticed in the game one, the Mookless champion kind of won the game a little bit there, and
It seemed like your man curve was like super low, so.
yeah. So I don't know what the rest of your decks, and if you don't want to comment, that's fine. But maybe not enough cycle to be able to come back at that point, and that's probably always going to be a challenge in this format.
Yeah, I feel like they were both kind of all index with no cycle, but unfortunately, whoever took board first was going to hold on to board, and he ended up being the winning Shaman.
All right. Well, thank you guys, and good luck in the next round. You're now a little bit richer, StrifeCro, and got some work to do, VLPS.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of a chip in a chair, right? As long
Yeah.
as you got one chip, you're good to go.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. Well, StrifeCro feeling pretty good about that victory to start things off. He is slightly above 14.
1,300.
Oh, is that 1,300? Okay,
Yeah.
let's take a look at the bets of what the current standings are at, because StrifeCro bet 75 every single time, right? But there's also the ante of the 175. So I think he's actually at 1,375.
Yeah, 1,375, and for his total bet in VLPS would be 775.